Hello, good evening, and welcome back. So I know we're all a bit concerned about the police being used to push authoritarian measures, but then you get stories like this, and it's got to make you laugh and kind of cry, but also laugh if this is the kind of police that we should be afraid of. So overweight police officer wins harassment claim after her boss told her she might feel better if she stopped drinking, I quote, gallons of Coke. And it gets better. DC Carrie Moth, name and shame, she's the fat one, was told she needed to take more responsibility over her diet. And historically, you might think, that's okay. Yeah, you can take personal responsibility for things. That's not offensive. Oh no, it is. And let's cut to the chase as to why that's a problem. Over that particular quote, Carrie Moth says it's not her fault that she's so fat. It's because of the medication she's taking. And might be thinking, oh, what, does it affect your hormones? Is it more insulin? Is it the cortisol? Because, it's not just calories in, calories out. That's why you've got diabulimia. The diabetics don't take their insulin, and therefore they can eat loads, but they will not gain any weight, and they can actually die from it because they're just not gaining any weight, and they're losing a lot of weight despite eating thousands of calories a day. So yeah, insulin definitely does play a part. Quite a big part, in fact. So it could be something to do with that. But no. DC Moth said that her weight was not a result of what she was eating, rather was due to medication she had to take for her condition. She said the painkillers she took desensitized her nerve endings, including those in her stomach, meaning she did not feel full when eating and so ate excessive amounts. You might also think, if it desensitizes your nerve endings, does that mean your stomach wouldn't hurt when you were hungry, so you wouldn't realize you were hungry? Or you're aware of this, as you're admitting it, you're confessing it, if you will, seeing as you're police anyway, in which case you can still gauge how much you're eating, and let's presume you don't have any other terrible issues like diabetes, for example, as they're not mentioned here. So you could calorie count, for example, or you could focus on healthy food, why not? Or you could go down a ketogenic diet or fasting protocol, because what she suffers from, which is fibromyalgia, not myalgia, but fibromyalgia, is also to do with joints and inflammation of sorts, which is brought about by too much omega-6 compared to omega-3 and too many carbohydrates, essentially. So by removing those things, then chances are the symptoms decrease. And from the research I've done into it as well, they do say that if you fast and or you get into ketosis, it does lessen the severity of your symptoms quite substantially. In which case, yeah, you can take more responsibility, and by changing your lifestyle, you can actually help out your body. I know, shocker, that our medicine is very good, but there are more direct, natural ways, if you will, that will help you out. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's like, if you're having trouble getting up a flight of stairs because you're unfit, you could either breathe almost pure oxygen, or you could work out a little bit in order to increase your cardiovascular system and be a bit more fit. I think we all know that the latter's a better option, and the same goes here. But she is in line for compensation after a judge ruled she was discriminated against. And it's a bit counterintuitive the way she was discriminated against. So the officer suffered from the painful condition fibromyalgia and had 179 days off work over a 4-year period, the tribunal heard. And you might be thinking, oh, well, it sounds like the work isn't for you, then surely that's fair enough. For two reasons. One is you can't really detain somebody, for example, if you're in that much pain. And also, you can't really detain somebody or chase somebody if you're that fat. And if you're taking that many days off work as well, half a year over 4 years, so that would therefore be an eighth of the time, then maybe that job's not for you and you could pick something else instead. But no. And this is the bit of the Equality Act that I really don't understand. Isn't it supposed to be equal opportunities, not equal outcome? Isn't that the kind of equality we're going for here? At what point does it end to say everybody can do every job? And if they're unable to do that job, then you have to make special allowances for them. I do not see that true at all. If it's difficult to move around, then maybe a desk job is more for you. Fantastic. And there are plenty of stories to go around of people who have suffered from bad conditions and either overcome it or found a way around it. And the same should go for everybody else. You're not going to be great at everything. You might have different disabilities. They might be obvious in terms of amputation, or it might be short-sightedness, or it might be you're very short, or it could be you're colorblind. Whatever it might be, then don't go for those things. Don't try and be a basketball player if you're a dwarf. Don't try to be a pilot if you're colorblind. Surely it follows. Does it not? And don't try to be an athlete or involve running if you're obese. Unless you want to do something about it, and then you can. But in your current situation, don't do that job. And if you started and you're fit, and then you end up gaining a load of weight and you can't do your job anymore, change your job. Isn't it just we're expected to go to a certain standard, and that's it? Because they had, as the tribunal heard, Professor John Harrison from the Force's Occupational Health Department, who delivered a report on how the illness affected Carrie Mott's ability to do her job. So, said you got to learn to change your lifestyle, cool, which should mean changing occupation as well. But he added that she was not fit to undergo a fitness test and therefore could not undergo officer safety training. Professor Harrison later confirmed that she would never get through a fitness test in her remaining time in the force owing to her health issues. So there you go, she can't complete the job, she should be out. But no, that's not the case at all. Because Employment Judge Alistair Smale said, "We had little doubt about this meeting was a humiliating experience for DC Moth." Yeah, because saying drink gallons of Coca-Cola indicates an unprofessional tone in the discussion. It's kind of understandable that you get to that point of exasperation. But the balls on this judge to say, he said the force had failed to make reasonable adjustments to attendance management targets to take into account Miss Moth's disability. Then, question for you, Judge. Question for you. If you're calling the police because you're being chased or attacked, and they were to send out Miss Moth, would you be happy with that, or would you rather they send out somebody else? Because what you're saying is that you'd be fine with her, who's unable to do her job adequately. But you'd be fine with it, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. So what the fuck are you on? And I think that's the easiest way to turn it around to these people, is to say, well, if you're in that position and you were needing help and this person was sent out to help you, would you be happy with it? Similar thing to say for like army fitness training. It's like, okay, cool. You're saying that they should be changed for women, so the women have a lower barrier of entry, so that they can also be in the military and in the same rules, even though they can't compete to the same standard. Okay. So then let's say there was an attempted invasion of Britain, and each little council or area, town, village, whatever it was, had their own guard, and yours was made entirely out of people who couldn't actually pass the proper test, but they could do a little bit, which, you know, shouldn't really make them eligible, but you wanted them to be, and that's who you get to defend yourself. Meanwhile, everybody else has people trained to a professional standard. Do you feel happy with that? Do you feel secure, or do you feel like you're going to be an easy target? Yeah, maybe you shut the fuck up. Have a think about what it means, not how it feels, but what it actually means, and deal with it appropriately. But, the judge concluded Miss Moth was harassed by S. Marbley's comments about her weight and diet, and ordered a remedy hearing to decide compensation to be held at a later date. Just allowing that time to digest. As I think Miss Moth here, like moth to a flame, or apparently a moth to a fridge, she's probably received enough compensation, if you will. It seems like she's doing alright for herself if she's gotten to the point of being so fat she can't do her job. And if it's the illness as well, then pick a different job. It should be very straightforward. But nonetheless, this is apparently the state of the police force now. So this is who you have supposedly either protecting you or cracking down on you. And I really do hope, that this judge has an instance where he needs the police. And he gets some people who are at the standard where they can't pass officer safety training and get sent out to assist him in his time of need. For him to then maybe reconsider and think, maybe these standards were here for a reason, and maybe we should keep them. But hey, let me know what you guys think down below. I'm always intrigued to hear what you guys have to say, especially on something like this. It's like, if you can't do the job, should you get another job? Or should they change the requirements of the job retroactively in order to make it okay for you? But then can they change the wage as well? In which case, it's not the same job. Sure, it might have the same title, but it's very different. Anyway, let me know down below. And as always, until next time, have a good one.